Hey, how are you doing? I'm Anurag and I create videos on software engineering and productivity. This video is part of a series called Effective Developer Roadmap, which tracks the journey of a developer from humble beginnings to a quality-focused professional. Now, last time we looked at the various career options available to a developer in the hopes that you will find something that works for you. This time, we are going to discuss an even more important topic: the right way to kickstart your coding adventure. We often think about coding as something that follows a tutorial or maybe goes along with it. Well, that's almost true. While it's fine to dive right into coding as early as possible because that kind of sustains the initial excitement and builds the momentum, it's also important to realize that there's something else that should go right along with the initial coding practice: the foundational knowledge. Now, I think that after you have done a couple of coding sessions, start with the foundational knowledge. But the question is, what is foundational knowledge? Now, I like to think about it as a combination of three things. One, the building blocks of any program, for example, data structures. Two, the problem-solving techniques such as algorithms and design patterns. And number three, the big picture thinking. That is, how do different software and programs come together to create one cohesive application? Remember how in the beginning of this video, my stack of books collapsed because of a weak foundation? Well, a strong foundation will let you write bigger and more complex software without the whole thing coming down. A strong foundation will also give you the skills to write high quality code and also build what I call transferable skills. That is, using the knowledge of an existing system to learn another system in not much time. So you could master a language or master a framework and use the same foundational concepts to learn another language or another framework in maybe a week. Believe me, foundational knowledge is the difference between a good developer and a bad developer. Now, let's quickly look at the main concepts. Data structures are how you store your data or represent your variables in your program. Things like arrays and stacks and queues and hash maps are all data structures. Try to dig a little deeper into how they work. If you're feeling adventurous, look at trees and graphs, although in most programs you will not need to deal with them directly. Look at the pros and cons of all these data structures, when and where to use which data structure, and pay special attention to how they are represented in a computer's memory or RAM. Algorithms will teach you how to methodically approach and solve a complex problem. So look into things like basic search algorithms like linear search and binary search. Try to understand the basic sorting algorithms like bubble sort and selection sort and merge sort. At first, they will come across as difficult. Believe me, ask any computer science graduate or even a PhD. But again, the idea is not to become an expert, just to know that these tools exist, and there are always going to be trade-offs between picking one algorithm or the other. This knowledge, this insight is what will separate you from bad developers. Pay special attention to the running time and performance of all these algorithms, especially the big O notation. Try and see if you could come up with your own algorithm for some basic problems and calculate the running time in big O notation yourself. Lastly, practice expanding your big picture thinking. Any web or mobile application is rarely one cohesive piece of software. If you dig deeper, you'll find that any application is composed of many different software applications or software programs that come together, probably created by many different people over many different teams. Try to differentiate between front-end and back-end of any application, which also ties in with the client-server model, which continues to be the most popular way of creating software today, where the heavy lifting, the core business logic usually resides in a server-side application, which communicates with a client-side application, like, for example, a web application or a mobile application, to display the data that we receive from the server. talking about data, learn about databases. That is how to store your data permanently. Learn about caching, how to store your data temporarily in order to boost the speed of an application. Learn about the OSI model, how messages travel through layers of a network. Learn about version control, how developers collaborate over the same code base. By no means this list of concepts is exhaustive. It's not exhaustive. It's just to get you started. And while you are learning these things, you might discover some new concepts yourself. The idea is to learn as much as possible. Again, the idea is not to become an expert, just to know that these concepts exist. To expand your big picture thinking. To not be always focused on just your piece of code, but to think how what you are writing will interact with what the others on your team will do, so that you can create more pleasing user interfaces, more pleasing and unified experiences. Let's summarize. Start with coding to sustain your initial excitement. Combine it with fundamental knowledge for a strong foundation. Data structures are your building blocks. Algorithms are your problem-solving techniques to teach you how to approach complex problems systematically and methodically. Explore the big picture by learning about client-server, databases, OSI model, caching, version control, etc. To help you, I have left some useful links in the description to get you started with the foundational knowledge. In the next video, we'll look at some common knowledge gaps between what you learn at college or by yourself and what most companies expect. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button. Also consider subscribing if you would like to know when the next video in this series arrives. Until next time, adios.